Hey, what's up, everyone? You're here with Goran, and thank you for joining me here for your free picks from the European soccer on Sunday, October 8th, guys. We have another busy day ahead. Saturday was super busy with a lot of games in the morning and the afternoon, and then with the MLS on Saturday evening with 14 games in that league. For Sunday, we have some interesting matchups all over Europe. We have that big derby in the EPL between Arsenal and Manchester City. And of course, all of the free picks for that you can find in this video. So stay tuned, guys. Subscribe, make sure you hit that like button. And for my best bets, click the link in the description of this video. That will get you up to my page, and there you can sign up, get a daily pass, 3-day pass, 7-day pass, or even a month-long pass, which is probably one of your best value because you get every single one of my soccer picks for the next 30 days. Like I said, busy day, guys. We have some great games kicking off in the EPL. It's gonna be between Brighton and Liverpool, an outstanding matchup between two very strong teams, two teams scoring a lot of goals. Especially Liverpool, who was robbed in that game against Tottenham, as we all know. But they bounced back nicely in the Europa League by beating Union Saint-Germain 2-0 at home. The biggest problem for them in this game is that they will be without Curtis Jones. They will be without Diogo Jota, who are suspended. Thiago is still injured. Gakpo is listed as injured as well, so he will be absent from this game. While Brighton on the other side is coming off of a 2-2 draw against Marseille, and they were actually 2-0 down in that game, but they pushed in the second half. They scored a couple of goals and they got a 2-2 draw. The goals are expected in this game. The books are expecting it. Everybody's expecting it. And we usually seen a lot of goals in the matchup uh, in the past, and I think it's going to be the case here as well. So I'm going to go with both teams to score in over 3.5 goals, and that's minus 112. We know that neither team is that solid defensively right now, so I think that pretty much all we're going to see in this game is going to be goals. So both teams to score and over 3.5 goals at minus 112. West Ham will be facing off Newcastle in this next EPL matchup, and I think that with all due respect to West Ham, they have been absolutely amazing this season. I think this is going to be Newcastle's game. Newcastle is coming off that magnificent win against PSG 4-1. They made them look like a third graders, and they absolutely outplayed them. They scored 4 goals. They defended really well. They did not let them breathe, and they came out on top with that magnificent 4-1 win. As far as West Ham goes, they have beaten Freiburg in the Europa League 2-1, and they are definitely in great form. They are on a 3-game winning streak. But I think this is going to be a hard game for both teams. Honestly, I can't make up my mind whether to expect goals or not, but with both teams playing a lot of overs over the last month or so, I honestly think it could go either way. But like I said, I do expect Newcastle to step it up once again. So I'm going to take Newcastle on the money line plus 104. Should be a great game, but I think that Newcastle will come out on top. Wolverhampton and Aston Villa are facing off in the next game, and honestly, Aston Villa has also been playing pretty well this season. They have scored 7 goals in their last 2 games. They have beaten Zrinski in that Conference League game 1-0 at home. But Wolverhampton is coming off of a win against Manchester City 2-1, and that certainly was a huge confidence boost for this team. So I do expect them to get to the scoreboard, but I don't expect them to keep a clean sheet. So in this game, I'm going to take both teams to score at minus 162. And like I said, guys, Arsenal and Manchester City, huge matchup, biggest matchup of the weekend probably. Michael Oliver is the referee. I mean, we can't really say who's the best referee in the EPL. He's certainly up there, but they all make mistakes, and it's been a huge topic over the last couple of weeks. Uh, Arsenal has beaten Manchester City last time after a penalty shootout in that Community Shield game. It ended in a 1-1 draw, but then Manchester City has won after a penalty shootout. And so far they are undefeated at home this season. As far as the injuries go, Saka is listed as questionable, so is Martinelli, while Timber is injured. And Manchester City will be missing Rodri, who is suspended because of the red card, and De Bruyne, who is also injured. So, uh, I mean, both teams are playing well right now. Yes, Arsenal lost to Lens in that Champions League game 2-1, which was a huge disappointing, while Manchester City bounced back against Leipzig 3-1 on the road. And for some reason, the books are giving us the over 2.5 at minus 125. We simply have to take advantage of that. Even if you take over 2.5 and both teams to score, I think that's not going to be a mistake. But when you get over 2.5 at minus 125, in a game with two teams that are scoring a lot of goals and two teams that are a bit shaky on that defensive end, we have to take it. I honestly think it could go either way, but over 2.5 at minus 125, I absolutely think that's the way to go in this match. Off to the Spanish La Liga, guys. The first game we have is between Villarreal and Las Palmas. Villarreal did get a win in their Europa League game against Rennes 1-0. That was not the result I was expecting, but this is their second game in a row without a loss, and it might be a turning point for this team. We know that they have the quality. We know that they're playing well. They were just struggling defensively, struggling with scoring goals, but maybe that win against Rennes will be the turning point, like I said. Las Palmas at home and Las Palmas on the road are two very, very different teams. And on the road, they have four losses. They still haven't scored a single goal, and they have conceded five goals. Now, I am aware that Villarreal has been all over the place, but I will take Villarreal on the money line. The price is now minus 167, so we dropped from minus 177, and that's about as far as I'm willing to push this game. So I'm taking Villarreal on the money line. Atletico Madrid and Real Sociedad is the next matchup we have to talk about, and we have two teams on a four-game winning streak. So both of them have their last four wins in their last four games. Atletico has been perfect at home so far this season, three wins out of three games, and they haven't lost to Real Sociedad when playing at home in their last 10 games. Now, in my opinion, if Atletico Madrid wants to get a win here, they will simply need to outscore Real Sociedad. And without Morata, who's been in excellent form, who is suspended, by the way, that will not be as easy as we think. And they have played in the Champions League earlier this week against Feyenoord, a game which they won 3-2. Real Sociedad also played in the Champions League, and they have beaten Salzburg on the road 2-0. They are scoring a lot right now. They're scoring consistently. So, like I said, if Atletico Madrid wants to get a win out of this game, they will need to outscore them, and that means scoring at least a couple of goals. So I'm going to take Atletico Madrid team total goals over 1.5 at plus 106. Should be a fun game, and honestly, 2-1, maybe 3-1, or even 3-2. I think that's going to go Atletico's way. So I'm taking Atletico Madrid team total over 1.5 goals. The last game in La Liga that we are going to talk about is between Granada and Barcelona. Now, Barcelona is coming off of two wins, and both of those wins were 1-0. However, Granada has been very sloppy defensively. They have conceded 21 goals in 8 games. That's an average of over 2.5 conceded goals per game. Now, I am aware that probably Barcelona was helped by the refs in that game against Porto in the Champions League. I did not watch the game, to be honest, so I can't really say exactly, but with all the posts on Twitter and whatnot, I assume that was true. But I don't think they will need much help from the refs in this game. They are mostly healthy. They have some great players. Uh, I see Lewandowski listed as injured, but that doesn't. I mean, it does matter, but not as much because they have enough depth to cover that position and put Ferran Torres up front, and we know he likes to fight. So I'm gonna take Barcelona to win at over 2.5 goals, and that's minus 129. Should be a good game for them, and I hope they continue their nice winning streak. In the Italian Serie, guys, we have a few interesting matchup, and the first one is between Lazio and Atalanta. Now, I can tell you right off the bat that the books are not expecting goals in this one. So as we can see, the over 2.5 is minus 107, under 2.5 is minus 115, and honestly, it could break either way. Atalanta is coming off of a win 2-1 against Sporting Lisbon in the Europa League, while Lazio has beaten Celtic 2-1 with a goal in the last minute in the Champions League. So neither team is that solid defensively, despite keeping a few clean sheets over the last few games. I'm not going to try to push it to the over 2.5, but I will take both teams to score. Minus 139, with both teams coming off of a midweek games, I think that we might expect a little bit of a fatigue and a sloppy defense on both sides. So I do expect at least one goal on each side. So both teams to score for me in this one. Cagliari will be hosting Roma in the next matchup, and honestly, I'm a bit surprised by this. Uh, by the odds for this game. I know that Roma has been all over the place. We can agree on that. They have been fairly inconsistent this season, but Cagliari is absolute trash, guys. Cagliari at the bottom of the table. They have 0 wins. They have 1 draw and 2 losses at home. They haven't won any of their last 7 games, and Roma is now on a 2 game winning streak. So at this price, we don't have a choice but to take Roma on the money line. It's minus 125. I know they played a midweek game, but this is absolutely a game they have to win. So Cagliari versus Roma, I'm taking Roma on the money line at this price. Napoli and Fiorentina, the last game of the day is Serie A, 2:45 p.m. Eastern time, and I think it's going to be a great match because both teams are coming off of a Champions League and the Conference League games. Fiorentina 2-2 against Ferencvaros at home. Napoli lost to Real Madrid 3-2 at home, and this is going to be another game where we can expect goals. Both teams have a few injured players, I get it, but you know what? They have been playing well, they have been scoring goals consistently, so uh, both teams to score at over 2.5 at plus 100. I think that's the way to go in this game. Off to German Bundesliga, guys. We have 3 great games there, and we have the first one between Leverkusen and Cologne. Now, like I said in that midweek video, Leverkusen looks pretty unbeatable right now. They are on a 4 game winning streak. They're scoring a ton of goals, and another one of their games went over 2.5, which is now 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 11 game in a row. And not only it's 11 game in a row that went over 2.5. It's 11th game in a row that Leverkusen hasn't lost. And even better fact is that they have won 10 of those 11 games. So Leverkusen is absolutely on fire. Cole is garbage this season. They are at the bottom of the table, only 1 point on a 3 game losing streak. And I know that none of this is a guarantee that Leverkusen is going to get a win, but they are certainly scoring a lot of goals. They're playing at home. Their morale, the mood in the club and around the club and in the management, the coaching staff, everything is great right now. So if they gamble points away against Cole, it would totally be on them, and they will have only themselves to blame. So I'm gonna take Leverkusen to win and over 2.5 goals, minus 167. There are some other options you can take. Maybe take Leverkusen team total over 2.5, get a better price out of it. But maybe I'm being a bit cautious when it comes to this game. So I'm taking Leverkusen to win and over 2.5 goals. Bayern Munich will be hosting Freiburg in the next matchup, and Bayern Munich is also coming off of a win against Copenhagen 2-1. With those 2 late goals, they turned it around after losing 1-0. While Freiburg, on the other side, lost at home to West Ham, and they have also been fairly inconsistent this season, but overall, they are a pretty good team. And now they are facing probably the best team in the league, which is Bayern Munich, who's still undefeated at home, hasn't lost any of their last 9 games, and they actually caught Harry Kane in a pretty. I'm not gonna say a bad spell, but he hasn't scored, I think, in a couple of games, which means that he will certainly looking for it here. So instead of the goals or the sides, I'm gonna go with Harry Kane over 1.5 shots on target, and that is minus 152. The last game of the day in Bundesliga is between Eintracht Frankfurt and Heidenheim. Now, this potentially could be a very interesting matchup because Heidenheim has been showing some signs of life, while Frankfurt, even though they're undefeated at home this season and they haven't lost any of their last 15 home games, they haven't won any of their last 3 games overall, and they are coming off of a midweek loss against PAOK 2-1 on the road. Now, I do favor Eintracht here, to be honest, but I think that if anything's going to happen in this game, it's going to happen in the second half. So I'm going to take first half draw plus 140. I think it's going to be incredibly tight game, especially in the first half, and then we'll see if Eintracht can get out on top in the second half. In the French League One, we have 3 very interesting matchups that I'm going to talk about here in this video. And the first one is between Marseille and Le Havre. Marseille had a midweek match against Brighton. They had a 2-0 lead, and once again they fell apart and they dropped points. It ended in a 2-2 draw. But this is a team that's in a bit of a mess right now. They just signed Gennaro Gattuso as the head coach. Nothing's working out for them, and they are conceding a lot of goals. As far as Le Havre goes, they have actually been quite solid when it comes to scoring goals. They have 10 scored goals in 7 games. That's about a goal and a half per on average per game. And I definitely think they will get on the scoreboard here because Marseille cannot defend if their lives depend on it right now. So Marseille versus Le Havre over 2.5 minus 148. I think that should hit fairly easily. Lens and Lille are fighting off in the next matchup in the French League One, and two teams are playing really well right now, especially Lens, who is on a three-game winning streak right now, and they seem to be bouncing back finally. They are getting some consistency, and more importantly, they are fairly healthy, and they will be getting a couple of players back from the injury list. As far as Lille goes, they have also been solid, only one loss in their last six games. And they are coming off of a midweek game against Klaksvik, which ended in a nil-nil draw. And I think that because both teams are coming off of midweek games, we might expect a little bit more defensive performance from both of them. But Lens is coming off of a fantastic win against Arsenal, and I have to go with the home team. I'm going to take Lens on the money line, plus 123 right now. Should be a tight game, but in the end, I think that Lens will win this one. And the last game of the day is between Rennes and PSG in the French League One. Now, PSG is in a big slump right now. They were made to look like some, I don't know, Sunday League team against Newcastle. They lost 4-1. They have showed absolutely nothing. I did watch some clips, and their defense looked horrible. They looked like they've never played together. I don't know. They basically look like a team that just got together a week ago, and this was the first game they played. So they are in a slump right now. They can still score goals, yes, but they cannot defend. And I think that Rennes will know how to take advantage of that because Rennes at home has been scoring a lot of goals, and they have been in quite an excellent form when it comes to playing at home. They haven't lost to PSG their last four home games, and that tells you a lot. So I'm gonna go with over 2.5 goals in this one, minus 134. Like I said, PSG can still score goals, but they cannot defend. So over 2.5 goals at minus 134. And once again, guys, we have the parlay of the day for Sunday. At the end of this video, it's a five-legger, one pick from each of the top five leagues. And the first one is in that Arsenal versus City game. I'm gonna go with over 2 goals. That's an Asian line, which simply means that if we see 2 goals, it's gonna be a push. But if we see 3 goals or more, it's gonna be a winner. Barcelona on the motherland against Granada should be a decent game for them. Granada hasn't been playing that well, and Barcelona has to take advantage of that. For our third pick, I'm going to take Leverkusen team total goals over 1.5. I think that we won't have any problems with that at all. I think that Leverkusen in the first half alone can score 2 goals, uh, let alone in the 90 minutes. So Leverkusen team total over 1.5 goals. For our fourth pick, I'm going to take Rennes versus PSG over 2 goals as well on the Asian line. Like I said, giving the I'm trying to give ourselves a bit of a safety net in case we see only 2 goals. Because it is a parlay, even if this pick is voided because we saw 2 goals, we're still gonna win the rest of them. So, Real versus PSG over 2 goals. And the last and the fifth pick of this parlay, Napoli versus Fiorentina over 2.5 goals. That's gonna be my pick for that one. I like it a lot. I think we have two teams that are scoring a lot right now, but two teams who are also conceding goals. So, Napoli versus Fiorentina over 2.5 goals. So Arsenal City over 2, Barcelona moneyline, Leverkusen team total over 1.5 goals, Rennes versus PSG over 2 goals, Napoli versus Fiorentina over 2.5, and this 5 leg parlay pays on at plus 427. That's it, everyone. Thank you for joining me here. These were your free picks for Sunday. It's October 8th. Have a great day, guys. Good luck with your bets, and stay tuned for more free picks coming up soon.